Remember that a parable is a story that makes a point. Things and people in the parable represent other people or things. So as we read this one, I want you to think about what these people could represent, what it means. So this is the parable of the nobleman. It's also called the parable of the talents, very similar parable in Matthew and Luke. We'll read the one in Matthew. That's in Matthew chapter 25:14. For it is just like a man about to go on a journey, who called his own slaves and entrusted his possessions to them. So the first question is, why did Jesus tell this particular parable? Well, Luke tells us in Luke 19. So if we turn to Luke 19, verse 11, it says, while they were listening to these things that Jesus had been teaching, Jesus went on to tell a parable because he was near Jerusalem, and they supposed that the kingdom of God was going to appear immediately. So why did he tell this parable now? Because he was near Jerusalem, and they knew that Jerusalem will be the capital city of the kingdom. So they were expecting the kingdom might come right then. It might start right then, because Jerusalem is going to be the center, the capital city of the kingdom of God. Okay, next question. Who is the nobleman? Okay, in Matthew, it wasn't actually called a nobleman. In Luke 19, verse 12, it says, a nobleman went to a distant country to receive a kingdom for himself and then return. So a nobleman or a prince, somebody who's born to a royal family. So who is that, do you think? Answer to that one is easy. That's Jesus. As we joke, sometimes the answer is always Jesus. If you don't know the answer, just answer Jesus. And it's usually right. But the nobleman is Jesus. So he goes to a far country. Okay, next question. What is this distant country, this far country? Where does he go? Well, it is heaven. Okay, so he goes to this far country to receive a kingdom and then come back, not stay there. Okay, next question. Who are these servants or slaves who get this money or talents? Us, Christians. And what does the money represent? Well, in Matthew, it gives us a clue because it calls it talents, which was money back then, but it could be our talents that we have been given by God. Drawing, painting, singing, writing, thinking, studying. Yes, we're supposed to use those things, all the gifts that we've been given, for the gospel of the kingdom of God. And also the gift of life itself, the seed, which is the gospel of the kingdom, that we've been given that seed. So we're supposed to spread it. Remember from the other parable, the parable of the sower. Okay, what about the rewards that the two good servants get? Well, in Matthew, it said, well done, good and faithful servant. You've done well with a few things, so I'm going to put you in charge of many things and enter into the joy of your master. But in Luke, it gives us a little bit more information. He says in Luke 19:17 to the first one, the one who made 10 minas more, which is 10, that's money in Luke. So he made 10 times as much money. Well done, good servant, because you have been faithful in a very little thing, you are to be an authority over 10 cities. And then to the second servant in Luke, he said, in verse 19, he said to the second one, you are to be over 5 cities. So what does that mean? Well, maybe it means cities. I think that gives us a clue that if we are faithful with what we've been given now in this age, Jesus will put us in charge of greater things. So maybe Jesus will say to you, you are going to be in charge of Tokyo, and I want you to make it a better place, and London, or maybe some smaller cities as well. So that is the reward that we would be working for by using our talents and gifts now for the gospel of the kingdom.